newer method for setting goals that take into consideration the environment of today's fast-paced business. And clear means collaborative. The goal should encourage employees to work together. Limited. They should be limited in goals and time to keep it manageable. Emotional. Goals should tap into the passion of employees and be something they can form an emotional connection to. Appreciable. We should break larger goals into smaller tasks that can be quickly achieved. Refinable. As new situations arise, should be flexible and refine goals as needed. In this phase, the roles and responsibilities have been clearly defined, so everyone involved knows what they are accountable for. And also, there are some documents that the project manager will need to create during this phase, and some of them include scope statements. This is a statement that clearly defines the project, including the business need, benefits of the project, objectives, the key milestones, and all that. Another document includes is work breakdown schedule, WBS, and this is a visual representative that breaks down the scope of the project into manageable sections for the team. Another document is milestones, and this identifies high-level goals that need to be met throughout the project and include them in the Gantt chart. Gantt chart is another document, and this is a visual timeline that we can use to plan out our task and visualize our project timeline. Other documents include communication plan and risk management plan. The third phase is the project execution phase, and during this phase, the team has developed and create deliverables. This phase begins with the kickoff meeting, which is marked by the onset of status reports and updates, and transitions into performance and monitoring as the project progresses. And some of the tasks completed during this phase are project introduction and kickoff, development of team, assignment of resources, executing project management plans, procurement of management if needed, direction and management of project execution, setting up of tracking systems, task assignments, execution, status meeting, updating project schedules, modifying project plans as needed. Now the fourth phase is project performance and monitoring, which is also. So I'm going to be talking on project management and the project management process. Project management is a systematic approach to project planning, organizing, and managing resources, resulting in a project that successfully meets the objectives. It requires knowledge and skills in many areas and a clear understanding of the process that underline a successful project. The 5 project management processes are initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and control, and closing. We're going to be discussing on the 5. The first one, the project initiation phase. This is the first stage of turning an abstract idea into a meaningful goal. In this stage, we need to develop a business case and define the project on a broad level. In order to do that, we have to determine the need for the project and create a project charter. The project charter is an important document consisting of details like project constraints, goals, appointment of the project manager, budget, expected timelines, and the rest. The second phase is the project planning phase, and this requires complete diligence as it lays out the project roadmap. In this phase, the primary tasks are identifying technical requirements, developing a detailed project schedule, creating a communication plan, and setting up goal deliverables. And there are several methods of setting up the project goals, but the most popular methods are the SMART goals and the CLARE goals. The SMART goals. This method helps ensure that the goals have been thoroughly vetted. It also provides a way to clearly understand the implication of the goal setting process. And SMART means specific. That means we have to set specific goals, answering the following question: who, what, where, when, which, and why. Measurable. Create criteria that you can use to measure the success of a goal. Attainable. Identify the most important goals and what it will take to achieve them. Realistic. We should be able to work towards a particular goal. Timely. We should create a time frame to achieve the goal. Then the second method is clear goals, and this is a newer method for setting goals that take into consideration.
And I'm from Group 33. I'm going to be talking about technology and industry trends under project management and strategic planning. Elon Musk, the recent CEO of Twitter, stated in China's Cyberstep magazine that as long as we're not complacent and we can maintain a sense of urgency, the future of humanity will always be bright, driven by the power of technology. Numerous businesses have had little or nothing to say or adapt since recent times. Why? Because businesses that don't learn how to thrive and adapt in certain environments and sustainable development will be eliminated from the market. Out of the 500 greatest companies in America listed since 1955, only 50 were recognized in 2020. Why? Because of technological trends. Technological trends is very important because it helps with commercial innovation, it helps to create new products, and it helps to structure the business and enhance consumer pleasure. Although it is certain that Industry 4.0 seems to be the future way with artificial intelligence, blockchain, and other beginning technologies, it is also important and critical that we understand that the human element is very central to every business. A person who engages other people, a person who carries out daily tasks, who communicates with other co-workers is very important because these seemingly small things can make or break any program. Going on, we looked at the cognitive basis and strategic planning to every business, and it is noticed that every successful business plan must be obvious, must be realistic, must be implementable by every critical leader, because a well-executed plan can restructure and position a business to form better competition than other counterparts. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Gani Ifewa, and I'm going to be talking about why projects fail and the success factors of projects. Now, projects fail when it isn't completed on time. It also fails when the result you wanted wasn't achieved, and it also fails when the objectives you set for the project wasn't met. So, one of the reasons, my first point for the reasons why projects fail is unclear objectives. Now, project objectives are like the goals and the things you want the project to be at the end of the project. So when the objectives are unclear, it causes disalignment in the team, and it also makes the projects to be at risk because everyone on the team isn't informed enough to know what the project, to have a vision for the project. The second point I want to talk about is limited resources. Resources are very crucial part of project management, and when there is no resources, it can cause a delay in the project management. So when there is not enough resource, it can actually cause the project to be ineffective, and also it can cause the project to be delayed. The third part I want to talk about is poor communication. When there is no effective communication in project management, and is also in a team, the project can Another point I want to point out is unclear communication or poor communication plan. Now, in a team or in a project management, communication is very essential, and it has to be clearly stated how the important objects are going to be communicated, what they are going to use to communicate the important information, and who to communicate this information to. If these things aren't done, the important information that the team members are meant to know, they won't know it, which can cause a delay in the project, and can also cause ineffectiveness of the project, and can also make the project to be less than what is actually set out to be, and less than the objective. Another point I also want to point out is inexperienced project managers. Now, project managers are a very, very effective and a very, very essential part of project management. Now, if these managers aren't effective or aren't experienced in this field, there are some aspects of the project that they might not be able to handle well, and it can make the project to be delayed. It can make the project to be have a very, very poor quality, and it can also make the project to be very ineffective. So the project managers are also very, very important to the project. Another point I want to point out is inaccurate cost estimates. Now, costs is a very crucial part of project management. If the costs aren't accurately estimated for, it may not be enough to cover the whole project, which can also make the project to even stop, because without costs, without enough funds, the project will not be able to go on. So there are many more reasons that make a project to fail. So, but out of all these failures, there are also steps that can be taken to ensure that the project is a success. One of the steps that can be taken to ensure the project is a success is identifying the project's requirements. Now, identifying the project's requirements is a very, very crucial part of project management. You have to set up a project plan, and the project factors have to be known, because they are very, very crucial parts of the project management. Now, after the project plan is set, a team has to be created, a very effective team that can implement the project plan effectively. That's like defining roles, allocating set of tasks to certain set of people, that knowing their weakness, knowing their strengths, and how to allocate the set of tasks to them. So these things are also very important, and they can help in the success of a project, and it can also help the project to be very effective. The second thing I want to point out is setting a clear objective, setting clear project objectives. Now, project objectives are very important. They are one of the reasons why projects fail. But if these objectives are clear, that is, if the whole team is informed on the direction the process is going to, that's the vision of the project and what the project is supposed to look like at the end, the team members will be motivated enough to make the project a success, and the project and the objective and goals should be known before the start of the project, to help the team members, to guide the team members on the project and the process of the project. The third point I want to point out is the effective resources management plan. Now, a resource management plan lays out the amount and also the resources needed for a project. If the resources needed for a project are not effectively allocated for, it can cause the failure of the project. So resources allocation should be used to identify.
Hi everyone, my name is Nwapachimane Gift, and I'm going to be talking about strategic planning and information system. Well, information system is like the nervous system of every organization, and the nervous system is an important part of the human body. Now, it's like a nervous system that has its neurons that extend into and support every organ and muscle fiber of the organization. Okay, and we can see that the information system is so central to the success and competitive strategy or strategic competitiveness. Okay, so that's why organizations create what we call strategic plans. And strategic plan serves as a roadmap. It serves as a roadmap, which entails and give accounts to significant trends in the environment. Okay, and it's also aligned with the strategy of the business in order to aid decision making. Now, this plan covers three major areas, and these three major areas include the vision, the principle and policy. We also have the project portfolio management, and we also have disaster recovery and business continuity. Now, looking at the vision, principle and policy is basically talking about the vision of a company actually, and the vision of a company serves as a groundwork for strategic decision making. And looking further into the vision, the principle and policy of a company, we are going to talk about some little things like the funding model. And the funding model is basically talking about how an organization guiding principle affects the IT expenses and the recovery costs. It's basically talking about how how the principle of vision, or the policy of a company, affects how a company spends his or her, resources, the money. Okay, and then we also have to look at what we call the acceptable usage of security policy, and that is just talking about the kind of IT resources that every employee of the company is allowed to use, or the IT resources that they are not allowed to use. And to gain access to these IT resources, they have to accept this policy. Now, moving on, we also have what we call the enterprise architecture, and the enterprise architecture is basically saying that the architecture of the company should address the company's targets and current states. Okay, that's what it's talking about. So moving on, we also have what we call the project portfolio management. Okay, project portfolio management is a continuous process that oversees the project of the whole organization. Do you understand? And it oversees the project of the whole organization, down to the decision making of which project to pursue and managing the project itself. Okay, now the decision making when deciding the project to pursue, we have a lot of criteria, but a typical criteria would be contributing to competitive the contribution of the competitive strategy. We also have the return on investment, and we also have what we call the compliance and risk reduction. Okay, now we also have what we call now in the management of the project itself, we are just basically talking about how to manage the project. Strategic plan is what is
Absolutely. Project managers also, with the aid of project management software, which provides basically the broad range of tools that help our manager and track projects in order to break down structures and fill in timelines and due dates and assign people to tasks and other capabilities. They use this to carry out different projects in time and efficiently, by which are managing people and resources. For instance, with the use of this application software, they manage people and resources. This is a useful feature in project management software, which has the ability to assign people to tasks and then track their workload and duties across the given projects and tasks given to each individual. The project manager can utilize the programs to test scenarios that stretch out some of their work and delays and others. And if someone is overloaded for a while, they can find a way to break down those workloads and cut it into bits by bits, so that it will be easier and faster for the project individual to carry out the job easier and faster. Because many projects involve team members who work in different departments or projects and need to share their expertise. The reports that indicate everyone's schedule are extremely helpful. Project management software that includes resources management allow to achieve fully visible into each team member's workload and availability. With the functionality, you can quickly see who is doing what and who is doing who at any time possible. With the use of project management software, the project manager can also manage costs of the project itself, whereby using the software, it is possible to estimate upfront costs for things like salaries, consultancy fees, equipment, employees travel, rentals and other expenses. As this project moves forward, the actual cost that can be compared to the baseline is greater at greater rates. Project manager can impute hourly rates, overtime pay and shortage time that was taken by each individual that was engaged in the project or whatnot. This cost may also be imposed in the initiative which charges to use meeting spaces. Costs can be also estimated with the use of budgets and other estimate tools to save and not incur so much cost in the end, and the remaining cost or savings that has been saved through these means will be used for future projects and also other miscellaneous expenses which is to be incurred by the project manager or the individuals in the team. This software also creates a medium in which documents can be saved in order to compare or be used for future evidence in case of litigation or comparing with other sisterhood companies which also engage